coaching cues for the strict overhead press. So with the barbell overhead press, this is our second KPO, our key performance lift, which we'll be doing within this phase. We do variate from a half kneeling position to a standing strict press, but of course the movement is very similar in regards to a strict overhead press. So, a few little things I quickly want to mention before going over any coaching cues is that if you feel you have real tight shoulders and some mobility issues and possibly some clicking and grinding and some niggles in the shoulders, what I do recommend is going for the standing landmine press as a regression from this exercise. So you would have seen the standing landmine press earlier within the prep phase. You've seen the exercise demo in there where we're pressing at a sort of 120 degree, 130 degree angle compared to a strict press, which is say 180 degree of course. So like I say, if you feel like you can't be overhead pressing quite yet, regress to a standing landmine press. And what you can do as time goes on, each week with this movement, is stand a little bit closer and you'll be going higher and higher up with that movement. Okay, and once you feel you're getting pretty high, you can then look at addressing a strict overhead press. But for this video, let's go over the coaching cues for a strict overhead press. So, of course, with a half kneeling position, you're going to be 1 foot down and 1 foot forward. With a standing position, we want to think about having the feet hip width apart. The barbell wants to sit just above our collarbone, where our elbow is underneath the wrist. That's the main thing I want you to think about. Elbows are not too far forward, almost in a front rack position. They're not going to be too far back like this. Think about the elbow sitting directly under the wrist. In regards to the grip, we're looking to go just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. If you have some tight issues with your shoulder yet you're happy to try the strict overhead press, I'd recommend go for a wider grip as that'll be easier for the to get in that overhead position from a mobility standpoint. So, start off with hands just a bit wide and shoulder width apart, and if that's too tight in your shoulders, go a little bit wider. So, from there, we know we've got our elbows underneath our wrists. We can then think about overhead pressing. This is a strict press, so I'm afraid we're not doing a push press where we use our legs. We're eliminating them from the equation, and it's simply a shoulder exercise. So, nice tight core. What I mean by that is, we're not lazy pushing our hips forward, tension the lower back. We've got our hip alignment, we're nice and happy with that. We're going to squeeze our glutes as we start to raise the bar over our head. We push our head back, we then push it forward as we get above. I'm still squeezing my glutes until I reach that lockout position, and then I control, come forward again. So as you can see from the camera angle there, my head has to move back slightly to allow the bar to go above my head, because we're looking for that bar path to go in a nice straight line. So a slight little move back with the head. Once it gets past your head, push forward and experience that lockout position. So again, main coaching cues I want you to think about is having your grip just wider than your shoulders. We're starting off just on top of the collarbone. We push our head back. We extend our arms and we squeeze our glutes, head going forward, finishing in that lockout position. Once again, if that feels super tight and you can't do it, go for a wider grip. And of course, with the half kneeling position, you don't have to worry about your feet position. But again, it's all about keeping your core tight. Imagine your belly button being tucked into your spine. At the same time, we're squeezing our glutes to alleviate any tightness or issues within the lower back. Okay? We don't want to be experiencing what's called anterior pelvic tilt at the top of the rep. So by squeezing the glutes, it's just going to help reinforce that hip alignment in a nice neutral position. Elbows under the wrist, head back, head forward, squeeze the glutes, hip alignment, and that's going to make sure you overhead press in a safe manner.